I'm speaking. Just want to see it picks up my voice with it. I think we're ready to roll. Just music in the background. Let's start. Let us get started. I think we can start. And all right. So, welcome back to our channel. How's the audio? What's the first line I'm gonna put here? Okay. I think the first question is, can you hear me? If you can, please let us know. So now let's look at our code. So let's do our stand-up meeting. So I think that's important. Basically what we did yesterday, we had a prompt controller, okay? So this is our prompt manager, and that's a way for us to kind of manage prompts as they're coming. We also decided that we're gonna have a workspace, and I think it will be better if I go and build a project. So I'm gonna go to CD desktop experiment, Copilot experiments, and here we're going to use Gemini, but for now we're gonna implement the metadata field. So remember, let's open our writer and press, so we can have our rules set up. So let's look at the code. We have a brain, right? We have a testing and we have a database. So that's what we worked on. So currently the platform has a Kanban board, and we are working on the brain. Now today we're going to mostly work to see if our agents can work and that we can search. Search is important because that's how we recall memory. And so far no blockers and no risks. So to kickstart the development, we have to read this, and this is our last comment. Okay, so just an overview of our stand-up, as people doing have kind of so now let's see. I'm going to give you a preview of the application. We're building it, and this is the rules so far as I'm going to give it to you. So let's open this, and ground rules. Remember, We are the driver of the AI. It's not, it's guiding us. We are guiding it. We are the driver. Okay. Second, we also, documentation is important in that we have to, we're gonna do a first experiment. Okay, we're gonna be experimental today. So we're not going to think in terms of features or anything. We're gonna be experimental. So context is everything. So let's create a new slide here. And we're gonna call this sprint number 2. It's a way to kind of have us. So today is gonna be experimental in the sense that all right. It's reading our stand-up. Okay. Now let's go on our Laravel side. I'm going to have a different theme for this. I'm going to have I'm currently working on this app and I've made some changes, and I realized when I come from a cold start, it takes a while for me to gather all the information and things like that. Now, is there a mechanism I can use to basically uh, be up to speed? We have the stand-up mechanism. How can we integrate that into our current system? And if you want, you can look at our plan.md, and basically it's like after the fact or before the fact. But today, based on what we already have in our system, what would be a good candidate to kind of start development? So it's kind of like gathering all the facts and basically said, okay, this is what we're going to start working on. How do you propose we do that? Okay. In the meantime, I'm going to go here and say .NET. Okay. Now we're building our now. Okay. Now our first chat line should be, I'll go to AI Studio. I'm gonna go to maybe an existing. And let's see. This is our application. we need to update our documentation with that new feature. And also, how does it work? How do we use it? I don't mind with this one. Now, what I would propose is I would say continue. I know I'm using Copilot. Okay. Proposed development for today, context and vibe dashboard. Okay. Context hydration. Okay, we're gonna use, that's a very good concept we can add to our thing. Context hydration. I think develop the idea further in terms of existing features and take off the workflow without overcomplicating it. In the meantime, let's go to our Laravel side. Bring me up to speed with the project. Okay, so now this theme is not Okay, so now we're letting it do its thing. In the meantime, we want to stop process and start process again. So let's go on our Laravel side. Let's see what Laravel has said. Okay. Meantime, I think when the title of the video is more abstract, people don't know what it is, its utility. So for now, well, I think what we can do here, first, we're gonna increase the minimum font size of the application to 16 pixels. And then on our page dashboard, okay, so here is what I've observed. First, you have to go to inspect element and kind of say flex text what? Text left, but there's no indication what this is. So let's go and select day. We're gonna go copy element. Okay, so if I want to file a bug, what mechanism do you suggest how I can file that bug so that we can catalog all of our bugs for that project right now? For example, here is one. Currently, when I click on this button, I do not see the form to edit the settings. And number two, when I go into our application, I think the minimum font size should be 16 pixels so that things are more readable. And I think instead of gray text, our default color should be black text. Okay, so we're gonna let it do its work here. And it's gonna work. While the agent is working, we have some build errors on our .NET side. And it says it's something about a version target. Why? It's being used in another process. So are we running our application? Let's see. Let's go into our application. Let's restart here to see what's going on. Okay. So our agents, this is what the agents are assigned to do. And now I'm gonna be focused on the debugger. Now, here's what I want. When I go into the agent task, inspect what this is. We are workspace header in the workspace text section. I'm going to copy this element. And I'm going to bring up the agent called, all right, before we do that, let me just ingesture. We're gonna ingest the first idea here. We're gonna go into our I think intelligence. I'm gonna go to brain. This is how the brain is. So far I haven't found a good, but I'm gonna file the bug under that workspace. Okay, I'm gonna go into our Copilot experiment. I'm gonna create a new bug. I'm going to say click on click. In our agent page, there's a section where tasks are assigned to an agent. I want first to group them by kind, and then when I click on them, I should be able to see the details. So here is an opportunity to reuse some views or some templates. And then we can just edit this. You can ask this. I also wonder, in a quiet environment, office environment, would we be able to have this workflow where we are talking? Okay. So now tell me please if the audio is too loud. I do want to have like honestly, I don't know if my voice is being heard properly, but it's always good to check. So I'm gonna do a 10-second sound check. Bear with me for a second. I'm simply going to take this off, and I'm going to okay, I think the sound is good. I think the sound is good. Now, do you see what's going on here? I think our agents should be able to pick up the tasks. So remember, interface, right? It's a user interface. First is what we learn. Interfaces. Interfaces. Interfaces can be text. They can be, audio. They can be graphical. And even this graphical user interface is going to change and evolve. And actually, that's an idea that we can file. I'm going to go here, and I'm going to file that in my ideas here. I'm going to go to knowledge, and I'm going to go to ideas. I'm going to file a new idea here. I'm going to say, I think user interfaces, especially graphical user interfaces, we are going to have a procedural graphical user interface that will generate things on the fly. So just like text can be generated on the fly, I think the next evolution is going to be graphical user interfaces that are going to just spawn so we can use it, but it's going to be intuitive enough that it's not going to be hard. And I'm going to file this under I guess I'm gonna put improvement. Okay, so we have a new idea. So any random idea, just file it into our random idea. Now let's see how our Laravel side is doing and the bug. Let's see if the bug is fixed. So this is our plan. And let's check our bugs to see if the bug is fixed. So I'm going to go here, click. Well, not yet. Let's go into here. We created this. All right. Now I'm gonna say, please fix the bug. Okay. Now, let's go into our home page of our application, of our other. Let's close this. We don't need that. Home page. Not yet. Let's see. Where is that background process? Okay. I'm going to spawn a new Copilot. And can you write me a little PowerShell script and put it under utilities script folder? And this folder is going to just check if we have any running .NET processes in the background, and then we can stop it, kill it, so that we can start afresh. Now, water is good. Okay. This should also be visible in the application under /docs. Figure out how to integrate that into it too, so things don't get lost. Okay. This actually worked. We see our recent activity here. So see, we can see our tasks. Look at that. Isn't that cool? So now let's check our Laravel side. So now the model wants to run automatic tests. Look at that. So I think it's important to kind of realize that right now our communication method is text, MD files, and it's okay. we don't need fancy JSON or MongoDB or SQL. We don't have to yet. So, right, the importance is that the systems are communicating with each other. Now, let's look at our pending changes now. And let's close all. So right now, for our changes, we have README files that we're gonna keep updating. We have our logo. We have this agent called architect. We have our documentation. We have our homepage. We have, in fact, I think proper Visual Studio is better with C#, honestly, in that kind of scenario. So I'm going to go and open proper Visual Studio because I just like it better. And even though it burns more last time of the write, I don't want to recover it. Last time of the write was yesterday. So let's clear this. So Gemini. So build succeeded. You see, those little nuggets of information are important. So our next step is to, okay, so it says, let's look at our docs first. Let's look at our documentation. And this is our documentation. So we have current status, what's being built. We have our project. We have our documentations, checklists, and now intelligence. I think first I'm going to move ideas under intelligence. Now the fastest way, I don't need to call the AI for that. I'm just going to search. I'm going to go to the navbar. Okay. Code search. Sometimes it's faster if you just write the code yourself, you know, sometimes like that. So I'm just going to grab this idea sub model, copy it, and I'm gonna paste that instead under well, I'm gonna paste it under intelligence for now. We can always move it later. I'm gonna move that, put that under intelligence. So remember, be familiar with the code, and some models are better than others. So now remember, we are working on modalities, right? So we are the driver, right? So with that being said, let's look at our code, and I think what I want to do is workspace print agent. Okay. I think our next step, I'm going to run the test. So remember, test-driven development is important. Okay, now I think we have a lot of pending changes. I think it's a good I'm going to just move into a different model. I'm going to say, can you please analyze our pending changes? And what I would like to see is if you kind of see any emergent ideas. Compare that against our documentation, doc files and plan, and to see how our workflow is evolving and what can we understand from it. Remember, We are building the system. We don't know exactly what we're building yet, but we have the basic in place. It's a matter of making them working with each other. So it's gonna take some time to, so this little nugget of information is actually important. So it says, do I want to switch to, honestly, I don't want the Gemini Flash for this one. I'm just gonna exit this. I'm gonna clear. Look at that. 100, just 126 tokens wasted. So I think also at some point we're gonna have local models, but let's just use Copilot for this. Copilot CLI, you know, is this Copilot CLI. Copilot CLI is this new thing from Google. Right now it's at the preview, but so far it has been working pretty well. Okay, let's take some time to, we're gonna take a little time to read Hacker News to try to see what's going on and make some comments. Seems like, let's put the, okay, so it seems like there's some funny, let's actually put google.com, see what happens. Make it creepy. That's a funny one. So AI bots are a thing now. AI bots are a thing that are going to, it's important. So if we look at the web crawlers, and before I do anything, let me, actually I'm going to go Opus. I'm going to change the model for this. When I want to do like some heavy thinking, I just delegate it to Opus. I'm gonna do this. In the meantime, gonna let it analyze. So I want to ask the question. So this is a new, let's see what this article is saying. It says there's a hat on Raspberry Pis that can make it faster and for open source models. That's interesting. Let's check the other article. It says, oh, Claude Cowork kind of does exfiltration of your files. That means it grabs your files and put them outside. So I guess we have to be careful with that. Let's go to some other, the next article. It says, let's see what's interesting here. Let's see. That could be very interesting. Speech to text application that works completely online. What is this one doing? We already, I like that one tool that does one job. and it seems like it's for Apple Silicon. I wonder, is it a Whisper wrapper? Oh, so you can have a foot pedal. This actually could be interesting. A 3D printed foot pedal. Um, this actually could be good. And let's see what this guy says.
CJ, and I want to show you Handy. Handy is an open source speech to text application that you can run on your own computer.
Let's lower our volume.
Keyboard shortcut, speak, and release, and Handy will paste whatever you said into the text field you're typing into. Let's take a look at the settings menu for Handy. It's really simple. You have a push-to-talk mode that you can enable, and this is enabled by default, so you press and hold the keys. Or alternatively, you can turn it off so the transcription starts when you press the combination and stops when you press it again. And you can also change what
This could be useful. So let's look at the code, see what it's doing. It seems it's using Tailwind. There you go. It's using Whisper transcription, so I think that's Rust. And some input output. And this actually could be useful. So I'm going to bookmark this into yeah, let's bookmark this and create a new what else? What else Hacker News is giving us today? Curiosa. What is Curiosa? We have what else do we have as news today? We'll check that later. But Cursor has come up with this long-running autonomous coding. And what does that mean? It's running for weeks. So that's like an experiment they've made to kind of maybe see what can be done faster. We're gonna do migrations, basically. We could do these too, but they put limits on even paying customers. So at some point, I feel like local models are going to be good. Okay, let's take a look at let's go to Ask AN. This is that thing. Let's see what that is saying. This is exploring personal websites of people. I like this when it's like just text and you know, I like when it's just simple like that. This is nice. Let's see that one. That's funny one. Let's see what that guy has done. This is nice. This is so cool. Is this a GIF or is this JS? I don't know. Let's inspect it to see. This is Canvas, actually. That is very nice. It's a Canvas animation. I would bookmark this. And I'm going to put that on a new folder called 2026. This is nice. I like it. All of these are inspiration. Let's check another site. Look at that. Okay, let's go to another one. Well, take a guess about this one. This one is gonna be very, very simple. Ooh, look at that. That is neat. Let's look at the profile. Cool, man. Wow. That actually is a very impressive, nice web design. Looks like a smart guy who's doing a lot of innovation and movies and great design too. Great design language, nice photographies. This is cool. Actually, that's wow. That is very inspiring. Just this rounded corners. I would bookmark this too. I think well, I wanted to create this new folder here called 2026. We can save interesting stuff. Let's look at another one. Angular. Ooh, what do you think of this one? Okay, let's check another one. I like these. Old-fashioned, but it works. But there's a bug in this site. It's shaking once you exit. Facial recognition software. Wow. There's a lot of smart people on Hacker News, you know? Let's see what that person has written. Nice. Sometimes there's a lot of hidden knowledge just there, you know? Uh, I wish there was a way to sort by top, but it seems like they sort by new just to give people a chance to see the new stuff. So it's gonna take a while to go by. Paradox of signaling. We're gonna spend 5 more minutes looking at people's websites. Double C. It's a video game. Let's see what else we have. This is actually a let's check this one. I like that. You know, if it's responsive, this actually looks nice. And there's a books. Click. Wow. There's a lot of great design. You know, all of these are inspiration. Look at that. Now, check this. This is what I was trying to tell you that language models, this was built with a AI. You know why? Look at the code that my AI generated. Look, you see something similar? There's always emojis, cards. Is that Tailwind? You see? It's always the same style and the same font. Look at that. So that's Tailwind for you. Remember back in the days they used to have, so that's Tailwind. And I don't want to use Tailwind anymore actually. Let's see if this is Tailwind or Bootstrap. I'm using Bootstrap. Okay, so is he using Tailwind or Bootstrap? Let's check this. This is actually Bootstrap. So we're using the same framework. Okay. And how come you have the same? Wow, we actually have intersected. I'm gonna book, you know why? Because look at my, I'm actually working on the same kind of style type of projects. If I show you my, look at that. I'm going to go into my videos. I'm gonna show you what I mean. I have this beyond vibe coding, right? This is my last video 2 days ago. Beyond vibe coding. We are moving towards away from vibe coding because it's wasteful. So this guy has the kind of similar AI assisted engineering. AI assisted engineering, spec driven development. Um, See where ideas converge? I'm not claiming I came with it first, but you see, he has the same kind of, but his ideas are more developed. But I'm kind of showing you too that web design with LLM can be very the same. Because right now we have kind of similar. Let's go here. It just uses these templates like a not a summary, but a averaging out of all the training data that they get from the internet. And that's how a lot of those websites are the same. And there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, so good job. But I'm glad that we intersected. Let's look at another one. Let's look at this website. This website is, you see, if they are easy to navigate, that's all that's not us, that's all we need. Let's go now to another one. Um, Dark theme. Uh, this one is kind of like a static and it's more, okay, let's see, what about this one? Little dot, it's blinking. And now it's a waveform. Huh, look at this design. Why I do, you think I am. Do, think, am. Well, let's see do. Ooh, that is actually, let's go to graphics. So it seems like, wow, that is actually a very unique website. That is actually just cool. You see the difference? This has a human touch. I can tell you that. Compared to my website, which so far I've been designing. I mean, I have an input, but I'm using Bootstrap for now. That's why a lot of, and there's nothing wrong with it as long as it works, because right now it's responsive and, we can refine the stuff later. Sometimes, they say make it work well, then make it pretty. So by no means is my website pretty. Okay. So what we're trying to do is have this intelligence part. And actually, this has not yet picked up, so let's rerun it. Let's quit our .NET and let's run .NET run watch. We save this. So now let's see. We're gonna go back to the showcase again. This is a showcase I'm gonna show you here. The showcase is kind of like, ooh. And we have a game. It's like a ball and snake. Look at that. It's following the ball. And it never quite catches up to it. It's almost like a sneeze that never happens. Now let's look at the other one. We have a "we'll be right back" screen that kind of shows that's actually real data. And we have a game of life. If you've seen this before, it's kind of cool. And this is our agents that we have right now. We have the brain. It's just grabbing information from different sources and kind of you have the architect. The architect is basically planning, kind of looking at the broad picture, analyzing pending changes, and making sure we are on track. The coder is the worker. It's just gonna go pick tasks as long as they have a sufficiently satisfying, they will implement it. Reviewer, we review the code after a big thing, and then debugger. If there's a bug, just fix it. So far, I think that's enough for our agents. Now let's go back. Let's see our long-running task, and this is what we have. Let's see what we have here. Agents have modified it. We have 7 controllers. So you see, emergent patterns. We are going actually copy this, put this in our ideas, okay? We're gonna go into our ideas here. I'm gonna go to knowledge, ideas, and I'm going to put that here at the bottom here, paste. And this is gonna be improvement, save, emergent patterns. And in insights, we have 5 agents, and we have a meta workspace pattern, and we have a plain ingestion service. Also, our document and our reality has evolved. So our workflow was Kanban board and real-time sync. Now we have a multi-workspace platform, agent-based task routing, self-tracking development system, external project ingestion. Now, we're building what we don't know yet. We can track multiple projects in isolated workspaces. So the biggest thing is that the agents don't yet communicate with each other. So this is actually important. I'm going to add it into our ideas too. So we're gonna go into our ideas. Any important ideas that we have, we save it. Why? Because our brain, the brain, is going to recall that when we want. So we're gonna go in the brain and we're gonna say, for example, idea. Well, we're gonna say, for example, emergent. Let's see if we can find it. Okay, our search is not yet working, but one step at a time. We have a file upload system. We can upload files, like I can upload what we had today and upload that, and then I can view it. This is gonna be important because we can attach stuff to it. We can also go to upload a file, We can go to our, okay, we don't have any of that yet. Open, upload files, and this is right there. So here, let's go into our, let's put that in our drawer. Okay, in our sitemap. Okay, so now let's continue with our insights, because that's how we are building the thing. Now, what does it say here? Okay, let's say proceed. Meanwhile, let's look at our Laravel site to see what's going on here. And our, what does it say? Okay, so bug fixed. Let's see if the agent has fixed the bug. Let's see if the agent has fixed the bug. Well, we have to go to localhost 8000. We're gonna go in our localhost 8000. Double control click. It should open our Chrome window. And let's see if we go to dashboard. If we go to here, yes, we can create a new event. So actually, let's say today, we're going to basically work on emergent patterns. And here's another issue. This should show date type today. So we're gonna say ding time. Ooh, time should be midnight by default too. And then can we attach a file? Let's see if we can attach that file. Let's create the event. Okay, there's some issues. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the agent. I'm gonna tell the agent, gonna keep the files, and I'm gonna tell it, okay, good job so far, but we still cannot create an event. And when we are creating events in our model, make sure that default is the date time today, and also that the default time is also midnight. So I think that's a more sensible default for our application. So now let us go back to concepts. We are going to kind of define, can you define the main parts of a brain? Because we have to also make connections between what is and what is not. Well, if we're kind of taking up the brain, let's open a new tab. Things evolve like that from bottom. It kind of moves. There are different theories, right? First, think of the brain as sensors. We have sensors, right? It's like automatic. We can breathe. We can, if we look at the brainstem, number 14, if an organism is alive, it should be able to move, right? And then if we go at number 4, the brainstem, which is what? Well, this is not quite. Yeah, there you go. Being able to breathe, being able to do all those things automatic without thinking about them. But frontal lobe is, concentration, planning, judgment, emotional expression, creativity, inhibition. This is complex, and you see how is at the front compared to the back, it kind of moves that way. What about the cerebral cortex, which is number 12? It's eye movement and orientation. And parietal lobe, number 9, is sensory. I guess what we feel. Occipital, it's eye. which is number 1, visual. So it seems like sensitivity to light is important. But let's go back to our bug fixer. Okay, it wants to run tests for us. So we've instructed it to have automated tests because automated test is important. We don't skip those, especially when we are writing in a language like PHP, which let me close all. And so far, we have a very primitive brain that just has docs, workflow, comments, agents, and instructions. So far, it will do the job. Let's keep that. And it said that it has made the changes for us. So let's see if what he said was true. Refresh. Let's click. Now it default to date time today, and the date should, okay, I'm gonna say the modal now still shows January 1st. No, it should show by default the date of today. Okay, now let's let it do its work. Let's take a look at our insights. Let's, yes, it's gonna write in our insights. Now we're doing it, using it for ideation, right? It's like, while it's writing, okay, let's say yes. We're gonna go back to our website showcase for a little bit of fun while we're doing some work. Let's go to our, this so far has been very cool. Let's see what has been written for Java. JavaScript. Huh. Let's see about that one. Very inspiring. Let's go to another website here. Clean design. Yeah, that's all you need. It's a blog. Okay, let's look another one. On being a designer. So far we're looking at visuals. We don't want to read long form articles. We just, okay, let's scroll and take one at random. What about this one? This could be cool. Ah, look at that. Okay. Okay. Well, let me ask a question. I think now you can just give me some ideas based on uh, what we've learned so far and the features that we have. What would be a crucial feature to work on today to kind of tie all the maybe routes or concepts together? What would be a good place to start? This today I'm kind of letting the language model drive for a bit, just so we have a. Okay, so what does it say for us? It says we don't know what's next. You see how cool is that is? Agents have roles, but we don't know how pending work per agent. Chain lock, but we don't know waiting. Insights don't prompt action. That's actually very interesting. So this is the proposed user interface that we have. We have an ingestion controller, design notification. Okay, well, let me give you some more background information. I think at the low level, you know, say we have a tree of intent. We have a tree of, let's say we want to create a blank. Okay, let's say we want to create um, a particular feature. Now we start with the main idea. We break it down into tasks. Those tasks are sorted, grouped by, I guess, area. Is it gonna be a front-end task? Is it gonna be a bug task? Is it going to be some other task? We hand those off to an agent that's specialized in that area, that knows a lot, but that has some instructions. And then those are broken down further until we reach a point where we have, uh, hey, this is what we're gonna build, why, and where. As in, these are the files we're going to edit or generate, and this is what tests to make it satisfying. So if those conditions are there, files are created, they pass the test, that means this branch of the intent has been satisfied. And then until we move to the next and everything is finished. Now the order of operation could be a stack, one after the other, a queue, or in parallel. But we don't want to complicate it, we just want to see if it's done. With that being said, we are, it's a matter of understanding. We're trying to understand what's going on and then act on those little pieces where there's the understanding of the framework. In our case is a .NET. There is understanding of the project, what we are doing. And remember, the project, we don't know exactly what we're building because, you know, that in between space, they call it liminal. It's something I've learned a few days ago. This concept that liminal space in software is what you have in your brain once it's outside, it's not the same as what you would want. Therefore, that project is to give us different views on our thinking process, on our tasks, on what we're gonna do. It's almost like a dynamic to-do list if you want to think about it at the most reductive place. It's kind of like being able to travel through time back and forth and gain insight from a growing body of knowledge, which are the ideas in the brain. And that will help us be fast. That's basically my brain dumping. What do you understand from this? And okay, so sometimes that's why I think in some cases talking to the software is good. Look how smart this is. Look how smart this is. Look how smart this is. Now, let's see what he has come up with. I said something, I spoke something into existence, which is the idea, all right? And it decomposed it. With the decomposition is basically the idea, you break it down into front end, back end, a testing strategy. And then for every of those, you have a leaf of the tree. This is create this component. This component Y, it's going to display user data, where this is the file. And then once you create these, you test it. It does what, did it do what you wanted it to do? It's almost like it circles kind of back. So that's actually a good, I'm gonna take a screenshot of that. Let's save that because that's important. And then file exists and the test pass actually satisfied. Now, insight is that I like how it kind of helps you think. It says you're building an external flat list. Now we have a tree of intent. From a static task, we have a decomposition that is actionable. And from a done checklist, we have some satisfying conditions. Now, let's go back to, in a way, this is what we're trying to build here. But it's just, we don't know how to represent the data yet because we have this board, right? That kind of tells us things. But let's go back to the proper, we have a phase. This one is not working. Let's go to workspaces. And let's open this. This is the part focus on. Okay, let's actually go to our agents too. Click. Not yet. Okay, let's keep going. That's actually important. What does that mean? If I say multiple views on the same thinking, it's kind of like, saying gravity, when you throw an object up, it goes down. That's the first view of the subject. But why do airplanes fly? Airplanes are heavy. So we have to have a different view. Or, oh, objects that are light float on water, objects that are heavy sink in water. But why is there a big metal boat that can float? Can you explain why? Why can we have a boat that is made of metal? I understand wood, but metal, and it's floating on water. So we need a different view of our thinking. We're not wrong, we just have to see it differently. Well, now that same idea is that liminality, the idea that's in your head, okay? And the idea on the screen is never the same. So capture the fuzzy idea, we decompose it progressively, and we see if it actually works. And then we move on to the next until, and in every cycle we build knowledge. Now, what do we already have versus what we are building? Let's go to see. We have the capture, yes. We have the decomposition, not yet. We have partial agent routing. We can define a leaf. We don't have that yet. We have views, but we don't have the insight of the brain yet. So now it's proposing that we can enable parent task, and then now let me lower the volume just a bit. Okay. Now good so far, but now can you challenge the idea? How about you challenge the idea now? Challenge the idea so we may see things that are, first see what already exists, maybe similar concepts, similar software, but also parts of that idea that is overkill, and that can help us to kind of think about what is essential but important. Now let's go into our in the meantime, let's So this is what the challenge. I like your recommendations, and I think for the next step, we need some action points to kind of make our system for this sprint. We're just gonna take it in terms of a sprint in a simple plan. Then, after you write that sprint, um, based on our format, you're going to go in our workspace and you're going to seed or fill in our workspace with that. I think we already have an existing task, which is then you will also update other parts, docs, or ideas in Brain. Then, before anything, you will go in our showcase. You will create uh, two slides that kind of talk about these concepts. And that's it for our tasks. I'm going to be back. I'm going to take a 10-minute break, okay? All right. Everybody's still there. I am back. All right. We shall continue. Shall we continue? My glasses. Let me put my glasses back on. Yeah. Okay. All right. Where were we? Are we ready to continue? Okay. Thank you guys for watching me. I appreciate your viewership. And we're gonna go into this phase. Let's just see what we have here. We're gonna let the application grow. Now we're going to go back into, we're gonna go into another section of our program. We're gonna do some exploration. Okay, we're going to do some exploration of more interesting kind of things. What I want to do is I'm going to ask a simple question, and the question is going to be first and foremost, can you tell me the profile of tech companies in the early 2000s? What technologies did they use? How was their business model? You know, we're kind of gonna look into stuff like that. And okay, so this is the technologies. They have the Wintel, which was Microsoft, and Intel, Windows Intel. And the big companies were Microsoft, Cisco, Oracle, so nothing. So I think Microsoft was like computers and Windows and other stuff. Intel made chips, processors. Cisco, it's telecommunication, routers, and Oracle, I think, I'm not sure early on, but they acquired Java. They make a lot of acquisition and just provided infrastructure. IBM, International Business Machine, also had computers and were the company back in the days for a number of time. Everybody wanted to work there. And believe it or not, I think they started making tools for factories, like for textile industry. Don't quote me on this. And Dell made computers, as you know, in HP. Now, I'm sure they were known for other stuff, but on the top of my head, that's what I remember from them. And is the audio too big? I'm going to reduce the audio ever so slightly. The music, just so it doesn't go over kind of like what I am speaking. I'm going to do a quick check just to see, and then just to see how the volume is, and then okay. Now, what I was going to say is, A lot of those companies didn't survive. Yahoo stayed, and Google came. And then they had startups, MySpace, Facebook, YouTube, Skype, PayPal. Now, they used Java, they used PHP, they used Adobe Flash, and servers, and there was a high-speed internet. Now they had licensing. What was I? Application service provider, and search advertising, and long tail e-commerce. So desktop PC was the way to access. I still prefer desktop for many things, and a lot of things weren't just not possible, not because of ideas, but because the internet was so slow back then. And because the internet was so slow, you just couldn't serve the types of application that you would want to serve, which kind of brings us to some other things. Let me close some windows that are not too needed for now. I'm going to merge this, copy, close. I'm going to put this here instead, which we already do have. Then I'm going to, we actually don't need this either. Okay, so now we just have these two windows. It's easier to manage, in fact. Okay, so what were we talking about? We also realized that the PHP was the way to develop software in Java. So startups, believe it or not, used to use PHP, and it's still a decent way, a good way to develop software, which is why this thing is still in PHP. Now let me refresh the page to take a look at what we've been building, to see. Remember, we have two views in our calendar. We have this view, we have that view. When I click, it should reveal this. Correct. And this is a stubborn error where it's still January 2026. Now I'm going to be a bit more aggressive with this. I'm going to go say in our user interface, still our default calendar widget still shows January 1st as the default date. If today is the 15th, it should show the 15th. Okay, now which programming language is that? I wonder which programming language is that. Oh, it's doing that with PowerShell. I want to run this command, yes, of course. And then once that's done, I'm gonna bring that back down, okay? So let me go into, and I'm going to go to, and I will see. So this is our new, remember, we go from fuzzy idea we decompose it into tasks. But what happens is when we want to go from here to here, we want to communicate from this to this, from this to this. And that's when Claude suggested that the better way would be with a graph. A graph would actually be a better data structure to kind of represent this, which basically should go into, well, see how the user interface looks like. Okay, so I'm gonna still go and generate the command. I think now code is more like a conversation. I don't have to edit the code by hand all the time, but I should understand the code as it comes so that okay. And now I'm testing my voice to see. Continue. Let's see what it comes up with. And let's go into our principles again. We are basically trying to coordinate the basic functions. And I think this is what we should do. We should understand the code. So after this, I'm gonna send another request, but this time, let's say yes. I'm going to go into let's let it do its thing. Let's go to this part. Let's shrink this. You know, in terms of tooling, Laravel has a lot of nice things already pre-built. Okay, let's now focus while this is building. Now, let's ask it a question. Let's say, how much processing power did AOL use, or a server, the stack, compared to, and also the tech team, how big was their tech team, and how would that fare their tech team with the technology they had back in 2000, early 2000, or whenever they were the most active, the most popular, and compare that with one developer and agents in 2026. I'm curious about how a you know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say? How it would fare, you know? I wonder how it would fare as okay. Sometimes we go into the websites too, but it's like a dynamic Wikipedia kind of, you know. So that's why I like with Google search, because it's almost like I'm searching Google, and if I want more details, I can find the websites. Now let's read what it says here. We'll take it with a grain of salt. It's AI, whatever. In the 2000, right? They had The top tier server was 2 gigabytes of RAM. And but they use about 30,000 servers. And even in 2000s, they still were using terabytes. Now in 2026, we could have a consumer workstation that could handle raw, okay, a single developer, 50% an hour, would be able, for $50 an hour, spin up the AOL's entire computing capacity. I can store all of that in a terabyte hard drive in your pocket. Now, they had 5,000 staff. They had 30 million users at some point. But 1 human and 50 agents. I think the development cycle of AI is CI/CD. Actually, I'm going to copy this. So it says that you could build a functional clone of AOL core services in less than a month with just AI. I mean, take it with a grain of salt, but I think the most poignant thing here, I'm going to copy this, go into our application, and we are going to go in our ideas. So, and we're gonna paste this. Now, this would be a great opportunity to take a screenshot of this. I'm gonna take a screenshot of this page. Why? Because I'm going to ask, it's long enough to I'm going to ask Claude to do it. So this is what I'm gonna do. Current workflow. I'm going to go in a file upload. I'm going to upload it, which was stored where? It was stored in our downloads folder. I can go and open it. I'm going to go into our downloads folder, and then I'm going to choose files, downloads. I'm going to open it and upload. Now, view. I'm going to tell Claude to. Let's see what it says here. I'm going to clear this. I'm going to go to models. I'm going to select a cheap model for now. I'm wondering between this. I'm gonna go to it Gemini. Gemini seems to be good at user interface. So I'm gonna say paste this. I'm gonna say, would you be able to analyze this image and then see how we can improve our idea page user interface? Currently, it's not very pleasant. See how we can improve our idea. And let's see what it does. Sometimes we have to run actual experimentation to try things out to see how it fares. Then, while this is loading, we are going to go into our letting Opus does do what it's doing. And let's see if our Laravel. So you see we're doing it left and right, back and forth. See what it does. Sometimes we have to run actual experimentation to try things out to see how it fares. Okay. While this is loading. So now, what is going on? So now, what is going on? I think it said. Okay. Well, let's see if the Laravel application is doing what it says it's will do. Uh-huh. Well, okay. There you go. Still not, but good enough. I'll take that. I will take that. Okay. Now, your task is to. This one, I'm just gonna use a plain Gemini just to save. In fact, I'm gonna go to. Honestly, I think I'm gonna put this in automatic. Okay, and I'm gonna say, can you please review our pending changes? Write that as a change log. That way we have a body of knowledge. If you look at our brain directory, you'll kind of have instructions on how to proceed. And also look at our agents, .md or whichever file instructs the agent to upgrade our workflow if needs be. This is what it came up with. I think we do have our answer. We just want to see um, how. Okay. How. Oh, well, well, well. This is very interesting. Clusters over trees. Well, let's see if we go in our showcase. Let's see. It's not yet been reflected. So we have to quit. And we start again. And just to let you know, we will have a different screen. About 1 minute. I think I just want to see what it looks like. Once that's done, we shall. Messed up. Well, everything is screwed up. Here's our is it an issue with CSS not loading? We have to look at that. So let's go to network, refresh again. Not an issue with for our page showcase, our formatting is just doesn't look good. Well, let's check. I want to say this change has screwed up our page. It doesn't look good. Our showcase page now looks terrible. Elements are not I think the CSS of our slides are not showing. It's all broken. This is not a good prompt. It's not a good prompt because it doesn't have a lot of specificity. In the meantime, let's check our index of ID. This is a little better. I think our input bar could also look better, and I don't like the idea of grid. I think we could have more vertically compressed cards that could be expanded, and also yeah, I think this would do something. Now let's look at our Laravel. It is not working. If this fails, I'm gonna summon a new one. In the meantime, as also, let's check our workspace. And we're gonna go to our board. And now we have new tasks. See? The tasks now are improved. When we click, we see the bug. When we click, we see all other stuff. And has this been implemented yet? Yeah, sorta. So I think I'm satisfied with this recent activity current session. So as a last task, I will ask it this question. Um, yep. Excuse me. Let us continue. So our goal is to kind of have it to be more industrial. I would need some sort of, I think what would do us some good is going to be once this is fixed. In fact, I'm going to request no runtime compilation. This app has to be restarted to pick up the changes. Maybe that's why it broke. So let's go to showcase. It's fixed. Okay. Please add runtime compilation to our project. That's your first task. Your second task is to introduce another way of displaying data in the form of diagrams. Now, do we do mermaid? Do we do some other stuff? Do we do canvas? And as a first trial, we'll put it under the knowledge tab, and our first visual, based on the principles that we've discussed, is to visualize the difference between vibe coding in contrast to industrial LLM assisted software development. And I'm going to say this type, I'm going to type it. I'm going to say between line. So this model uses 3 times more requests, but I haven't run into limits for a month. You know, let's check our games. Let's okay. I think this is kind of like the idea. Initially, I was trying to have this tree. You know, we have an epic story, task, subtask. But first thing is we always have to put everything under like a parent or a child or a tree, under like an umbrella or a label or whatever. Once it gets deep, it's difficult to categorize things. But sometimes, I'm going to give you an example. I want to upload files. That concept of inheritance, it can be useful. I have a file uploader, but then I also have another class that's image uploader versus video uploader with different characteristics that inherit the basic principles from one another. Now, if we just cluster things together, think of them as just throwing them in buckets. We tag them, but we don't nest them. And it's flat. We do that first to kind of see the pattern. Do you understand? So that pattern now help us the reason for that is so that when we do this, it's better. So it should emerge, but we don't constrain it. In fact, we're gonna add that to our idea body of growing knowledge, intelligence, ideas, and let it grow. We're gonna add this at the bottom. Paste, save. This is not a good, we have to restart. And we have to enable this. And with that being said, we have to look at our agents. This is what our agents have to work on. The reviewer doesn't, well, reviewer has to write a controller for events. And our debugger also has this. And I think that this is going to be a good place to end our stream. We will continue that stream later. Thank you for watching. Until next time, all right? Thank you.